Stuff's been crazy, dude, in life. We'll save that last thing for another time, Mike. I'm gonna save that. But I've been in a little bit of a rut. I feel like um in my life here. Shit's just been kind of weird. I mean, there's a lot of things to be grateful for sure. But I just realized like I was putting on that big show. I don't obviously you guys know because I was spamming the podcast about it. I was putting on that show for however many months and getting ready for that and trying to build opportunities off of that. And I just didn't even realize like how much of my life I was putting off to the side and not dealing with. And I kind of had this great excuse of like I needed to get through this other thing. Now now I'm having to like kind of come pay all that shit due, like all those essentially mental bills of like this thing or that thing or that thing I needed to get done that I was putting off. Like now, like the bill collector's at my door, like bro, or my door is in my brain, like being like, dude, you got to get this shit done. And I'm not gonna lie to you and be like, oh, I'm out of that rut. Like I'm definitely struggling right now. Like it's been hard to. I don't know if you guys have ever felt like it's hard to even finish thoughts, like finishing a sentence, right? Like sometimes people struggle finishing sentences because they're so flustered or anxious or whatever, like where you're like you're so angry and then you start saying it and you stop like that, in the middle of a sentence. You can't even finish a sentence. And now it's like I can't even finish a thought, at least in the last couple of weeks, because I just have so many things in my head that's been stressing me out. And I'm not going to get into none of it right now, but it got me. This is something I like to do when I get in a rut. There's a few things I like to do to try to help myself get out of it. And probably the biggest one, or at least most important one for me that I've done, is help someone else out. And I do that even when I'm in a bad mood. Sometimes it'll make me feel better. And I think it's because I'm procrastinating dealing with my own shit, So it's like, oh, but at the bare minimum, it makes me feel a little bit better in the moment, and I'm doing a good thing. So I try to look at it good. But I wanted to go over together, and again, if I know there's a few people in the chat, if you have something that you want or to want to give as advice too, that's great. But I figured I would give you guys things that help me get out of a rut. Since I'm in a rut, maybe I can take my own advice. And if you're in a rut, maybe it'll help you as well. So when you're in a rut, the things I would suggest you do is, one, help someone else out. That can be as stupid as like, a friend of yours needs a ride. A friend of yours walks to work, or a coworker of yours that maybe you're not that close with, and it's gonna be cold outside, or you see maybe it's gonna be rainy or whatever. Maybe you offer to give them a ride. Or a lot of times, what I do, I've done it at multiple jobs. I'll be like, yo, you guys need anything from blank, some restaurant or fast food place or coffee place on the way into work, and see if anyone needs anything. Because that, it's just a nice thing to do. It's so low stakes, and it's just like you feel good about it. You're also like kind of surprising someone else with a little bit of positivity. And how I view it is you're almost paying it forward into the universe of like, I'm doing a good thing for somebody. I'm filling the pool of whatever, of karma with good things. So hopefully some of that splashes back onto me eventually. I think you got to feel it. That's another thing. I think you need to just feel it, as my computer is trying to blow up in front of Mike's face. Is it okay? Is it making sounds? No sounds. Okay. Okay, just close it. Hit the X. This guy. You got to feel it, man. I have in my notes, cry about it. You don't have to cry about it, but I think feel it. That's something that's one of the parts that I suck at. Like, I'm great at the number one, helping people. Like, I'm great at like, okay, I feel like shit. Let me do something nice for somebody else. I'm not great at always feeling it. And what I would suggest to myself and to other people is like, sit for a moment and really think about why what bothers you is bothering you. And it might be really dumb, but even if it is dumb, just like own that. Like, understand that it's dumb. Like I am mad about this thing and it is dumb, and come to a conclusion of like, either I have to be okay with that, or if I'm not, like, what am I going to do to try to address that? And sometimes you can't control it, but I know for myself, something I get stressed out about is physical activity. When I'm not feeling like I'm hitting all the workouts as hard as I can, or not having as much time to hit the workouts. So I'm doing the bare minimum. Maybe I'm just going for a couple mile run. Maybe I'm only getting my shots up that day. I didn't lift any weights, whatever it is. I get pretty down, and it's not like I'm not doing anything, but I have this like weird guilt of like I'm not doing as much as I know I can, and that's what sucks, and that eats at me. So I try to write that down, and I try to feel it as much as I can, because a couple of things are either going to happen. You're going to realize maybe that thing isn't worth being sad about. Like maybe it's something stupid with work that you can't control. Maybe it's not worth being sad about. You know, maybe it just really isn't. If you write it down and you I'm not saying you have to write it down, but if you just think about it deeply and you're like, yeah, actually now that I think about it, or now that I say it out loud, that sounds kind of dumb. I don't need to be that upset about it. Or you find out that you do need to be that upset about it, and it is on you in some way, and that's going to make you feel like shit, and hopefully you'll try to change that. I know that's for me. It's like, it's a cycle that I'm trying to not use shame as motivation, but it definitely does help me sometimes, where it's like I feel so shitty. I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, dude, you know you could have fucking done more, bro. Like, I know on that set you could have hit those last 2 reps and you didn't. Why didn't you do that? You know, it's just like simple shit like that. And then my last piece of advice will be to start small, dude. I feel like I say this a million times on this podcast, but start small with whatever it is. But the key is start. I'm not saying like, don't put that shit off, because sometimes I'll tell people, like, they'll be like, oh, I'm gonna start a business, and then what do? I know I've done it. I know Mike's done it. We like give ourselves all these little things to do before we can even start really doing it, and some of those things are for sure important. But the truth of the matter is, we can start right now in some capacity. There's something we can do that will move the needle. But what do? We give ourselves we put our own hurdles in front of ourselves so that we have a reason to not start yet. Like, we put all this shit, we essentially put hurdles on our walk to the starting line, which is crazy when you think about it, because we're getting ready for a race. I should be focused on the race. I should be running right now. Instead, I'm building my own hurdles so then I can then go back and try to jump over those. And I know I did that before. I remember before I started making music, dude, I used to watch hundreds of videos, all these different people on how to promote your music, how to do this, how to record this, how to do it. And it's like, dude, the moment I just started fucking actually trying was the moment I started like having music to say I did music, you know, like having actual songs done. So like whatever it is, that's why when people ask me like, oh, what mic do I need? What this do I need? I'm like, dude, I'm not one of those people. Like, you know, when Martin Scorsese will be like, well, now you have a cinema camera in your pocket. Like, you know, he not shooting no fucking movie on his fucking iPhone. But I'm not one of those people. But I am saying, like, dude, you could just start. Just try. You don't know what mic to get? Okay, that's great. How about don't waste money on a mic right now? How about make one song on your phone, because it's going to suck balls, and that's going to teach you a lot about what kind of mic you'll end up wanting and what kind of stuff else you're going to need. And so that's what I would say about anything. And that doesn't mean like for startings, whatever, but just like if you're in a rut, whatever it is that once you've maybe helped someone else out and took some time to feel whatever it is that you needed to feel to realize what is the actual issue, once you decide on what you think might be a potential course of action, just start. Whatever the smallest, dumbest thing is, take the easiest thing. I know for me, I wanna start hitting a different workout routine. I have it on my checklist this week that I got to get up by a certain time, this many days, and I have to work out, you know, hit these weights every day, and then on top of that, I need to pick a plan that I want to stick to for 6 weeks. So just picking a plan, like, right? Like, I'm picking the plan, right? So I'm starting as small as I can. I'm making sure I'm still hitting active things every day. I'm still working out every day. So I've started, you know, build that mass, or that callus of your mind and your body, and make sure I'm getting up at the time I know I want to work out at. And I'm going to just pick the plan. So then next week, dude, I don't got any excuse. The plan is picked. We getting up at the right time. Why are you not working out? That's how I look at it. Sorry, I'm yelling at myself now.
Hey, thanks for watching there, guy. Click right over here if you want to see that episode in its entirety. Or you can click over here and subscribe to the channel. See all the other fun shit we do here. It's really up to you, guy.